Hello guys, this is a 2008 Lexus ISF, and this car is absolutely insane. This car is easily one of the fastest cars I've probably reviewed on this channel. That includes the Corvette, that includes the AMG. This car is in a whole nother league. I kind of had a negative review of Lexus.
Wow.
Why? Well, they don't offer a stick shift, if not at all. So I never really considered it. This car changed all of that. It's a sports car and it's reliable. Those two things, they generally don't go well together. But the car will push you as far as you let it. And then if you really want to get on it, it will push you just a bit more. This car is powered by a 5-liter V8 engine, a Japanese V8 engine. There is not many of those. In fact, Lexus really only has the few that's still left in entirety, which is derived specifically from this car, and that is the RCF and the LC500. Brand new was 70 grand, but you can grab this one for 35 to 30 grand. This one specifically, with all its extra bells and whistles, was grabbed for 35 grand, and this car is track ready. Everybody knows Lexus is basically a posh and a fancy Toyota, but what does that mean? Now you're taking the reliability of Toyota. This engine was also tweaked by Yamaha. Both are extremely reliable, and that recipe makes a fantastic engine. BMW M3, Mercedes AMG, fantastic cars. At this time, had V8 engines. The AMG still has a V8 engine, but what is one of the biggest cons about those cars? Super expensive, inaccessible to me personally because I'm poor, and just get some light engine work done. Expensive, super expensive. This car is fixing all of that issues. So before you think of buying a BMW M3, fantastic car, a little bit more precise than this one, or a Mercedes AMG, so much horsepower. The 2008 even had more horsepower than this. Consider a reliable V8 engine and take this car for a test drive. Enough talking. How does this car drive? Well, luckily I've got some pretty amazing roads over here. There you go. Had a good old Firebird drive past and didn't know exactly what this car is. And that's a plus. I'm actually glad I could do that because this car is such a sleeper. This is a sleeper in every little bit of the word, because it is on the top 10 list, including my list, as one of the best daily cars that you can buy, under 10 grand. But this can be thought to be a 350 or a 250. Some people might make that mistake before they see the F badge, and then they hear the V8 when you're completely keeping them in the dust and everything kind of changes. Oh my God. I mean, Japan kind of knocked it out of the park. Even if it's not as quick as an AMG or as sharp as an M3, they've succeeded. And I think this car wasn't appreciated as much back then when it came out as it is now, because this car is so much fun. We're driving now and we're on some nice little farm back roads and it's sharp. But I have a confession to make. This car is heavily modified. So, this car, just to name a list of modifications, a Torsen limited slip differential. I'm so glad I was able to say that and not jumble up my words. This car did not have an LSD when it came out. It also has completely upgraded headers, a full racing exhaust to pair up with that beautiful quad exhaust tips on the back. It's been lowered, and it has Megan Racing suspension, Megan Racing control arms, and it's been completely tuned. And just for fun, this car has a complete roll cage in the back seat. And that's not a bad thing, because the back seats were kind of non-existent if you're anything taller than 5'7", so if you're taller than me, you know, I'm probably the only person that could fit in the back seat of this car. But they were basically non-existent, which is great. But it's also bad because I'm dailying in this car on the street, and it is so stiff, so rigid. I just basically told you it's got about, let's say, 6 or 7 grand in suspension alone, and I'm feeling every one of these bumps. The pros of this car, there's many, but I'm going to focus on just a couple for the sake of the video. The power is ridiculous. I mean, there is a delay, don't get me wrong. You definitely notice a delay. It's about, I would say, 3 seconds before everything just kind of, oh yeah, we need to go, and boom, you're on the thrust and you're on that acceleration. But it is one hell of an experience once you feel it. I have to be honest, this is more of a review of this ISF than it is a stock ISF, because there's just so much done to this car. But I digress. Number 2, the reliability of this car. This car is so reliable. I think the reliability is the secret ingredient of this car, and it's solely dependent on you. Are you going to take care of this car? Are you going to thrash it around every single turn? Are you going to try and do every pull on every single car? And if you are, that is fine. Just be safe about it, but also take care of the car. The RCF, the LC500, where do you think those V8s came from? It came from this car, because they understood, hey, we have something here. And I'll say it again, I'm sure when this came on the scene, BMW and Mercedes were thrown back. That's number 2. Number 3, it's the transmission. I mean, this car shifts pretty damn quick for being a 2008. This car will literally let you redline it until you blow the engine up. Now, if you're trying to slow down and downshift, it will help you and do it for you. But upshifting, oh yeah, it'll let you all day blow it in sport. The beauty of this thing, why is this car so good? Why am I talking so much hype about this car? It's because it lets you drag out the RPM. And that's why it's so fun to drive, because the thrust doesn't end, it just keeps going. It's almost like this car doesn't have a drop off, or doesn't even have a top speed. It just goes how fast you're willing to keep your foot down. When there's pros, there's cons, and there has to be a catch. There's no catch, but there is issues with this car. One is, I've already talked about it, it's the shifting. Keep it on automatic mode and you're golden, you're fine. But if you really want to kind of get that paddle shifter experience and do those shifts on your own, there's some weird delay when you really get on it. It's like the engine is go, 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 and the transmission is like trying to keep up. Con number 2 has to be, well, the gas mileage. I can't talk about this car and how great this V8 engine is without talking about just how bad the gas mileage is. I'm solely doing this just so you guys can really get the joy out of this review. So, with the windows up, I'll let you get an earful of that engine. I'll put it in sport mode now. We listen. just enjoy how great and how good this car sounds, but you really have to drive one. Japan put all of the right ingredients to make this car. And again, it makes me sad because they just don't make them like they used to. And I know I sound like an old man, but it's true. AMG and M3, M4, fantastic cars. And you know what? I'm glad that those cars exist because it makes cars like this come out of nowhere. It makes manufacturers put their minds together to make something as wild as this car. I'll put money on it. If you own this car, or if you own one or know somebody that owns one, you can get a good deal, or you just have a friend that has his, it's gonna be an icon. On that note, I'm gonna leave you guys, but this is the Lexus ISF, and what I'm presenting to you right now, quite honestly, is a Japanese legend.